friends, welcome back to Amanda's Bookish Ventures. It is day 14 of Bookmas, my Priority TBR of 2026. It will say 2026 Priority TBR down on the thumbnail. I think I'm gonna fix it. If I don't have time, I don't have time because I have to upload this because it comes out tomorrow for day 14 because it was supposed to be another vlog that just did not happen because I have not read anything in the month of December. But I have 12 books. I have some I've talked about previously and book hauls, and ones that at least one of them is a release that I've had for a while that I have not got to. But so these are the 12 books that I want to prioritize in 2026. We have A Forbidden Alchemy by Stacy. I want to say McGain, but I don't know. All Nina ever wanted is to become an artisan. All Patrick seeks is to a craftsman's revolution. Will they choose their greatest desire or each other? Nina Harrow and Patrick Colson are the only 12-year-olds when they are whisked away from their disfranchised mining towns to the dazzling Bellar Bellaria City to test for magic abilities. Nina's lifelong dream is to become an artisan, a powerful elemental mage who fulfills the city's grand ambitions, while Patrick only wants to reunite with his family of craftsmen in the mine. Together, they discover a devastating secret. Artisans aren't born, but chosen. With this information, they part ways. Patrick returns home while Nina finds her place as one of the rarest, most covered types of an artisan. When a craftsman's revolution ignites years later, Nina is captured by Patrick's rebel group. And he hasn't forgotten her. In fact, he needs her help for a mission that could shift the tides against Belair City. She reluctantly agrees to aid him battling the sparks between them. But when Nina's first love reappears, asking her to betray Patrick for the artisans, she faces an impossible choice that will determine the fate of their world. I pre-ordered book 2, so that is why it is on this list. This one was one of my most exciting releases of this year that came out a month ago, I believe. And I know I'm not going to get to it in December, so I'm making it a priority. It's called The Changing Queen by Kimberly Bay. It is expired by Allure. At the murk and midnight hours she rides. Sensational romantic, The Changeling Queen combines folklore, desire, sacrifice, and a tale perfect for fans of Madeline Miller, Natalie Hayes, and Outlander. I'm an Outlander fan. I am fairy, fairy is me. On Salem, in medieval Scotland, a pregnant Janet rescues her lover, Tam Lin, from being sacrificed by the wild hunt, but callous Fairy Queen is not finished with them yet. Over the spans of a single night, the Queen and Janet spar over Tam Lin's fate. The Queen aims to win, knowing how fickle mortals can be. Long before she was royalty, she was simply Bess, the changeling daughter of a midwife. Born with magic and mortal blood, Bess feared there was no true place for her on either side of the veil. She found refuge in the arms of charming Thomas Shepherd, the bastard son of a local noble. While the villagers viewed her as a scandal, Bess's cunning knowledge and secret dark gifts attract the attention of the elf lord Adam. Wily and silver-tongued, Adam led Bess into the fairy realms of decadence where her heart warred against her destiny. She fought to keep both, but at what cost? Inspired by the Scotland's famous ballad of Tamlin, and weave together in the mystical folklore and tragic romance, The Changing Queen. Journey into the memory. Betrayal and redemption will leave you spellbound. Stunning sprayed edges. Majority of these books have sprayed edges or beautiful covers. This one, I'm sad I couldn't fit into, but I really am excited to read it. We have The Isles and the Silver Sea by Tasha Sherry. Two lovers enduring centuries of an ending World Fantasy Award winner, author. I'm going to skip that and just read the. Okay, it's two lovers enduring centuries of ending a World Fantasy Award winning author, Tasha Cherie Hart, shouting romanticy of a sapphic longing, medieval folklore, and a love that spans lifetimes. An England fueled by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over. Same tales retold over hundreds of lifetimes. Samran is a witch of the woods. Bina is a knight of the queen's court. When the two women begin to fall for each other, how can they surrender to their desires when they give in? When given, when it to give in is to destroy each other. As they seek a way to break the cycle, a mysterious assassin begins targeting tales like theirs. To survive, the two will need to write a story stronger than one that fate has given them. But the tale is true. But what tale is stronger than the knight and the witch? A lot of these sound similar, but they are what I really want to read. Another priority release that I pre-ordered right when I first saw it, and I did not get to it. I, Medusa by Ayanna Gray. Maiden, Mistress, Monster, Myth. A stunning reimagining of Greek mythology's most misunderstood villain. That's funny. The person who said that, his books are over there. Maddie has spent her entire life as a footnote in someone else's story, out of the place next to her beautiful immortal sisters, and her parents, both gods, albeit minor ones. She dreams of leaving her family island for a life of adventure. So when she catches the eye of the goddess Athena, who invites her to train as an esteemed priestess in her temple, Medi leaps at the chance to see the world beyond her home. In the colorful market streets of Athens and the clandestine chambers of the temple, Medi flourishes in her role as Athena's favorite acolyte, getting her first taste of purpose and power. But when she is noticed by another Olympian, Poseidon, the course of Medi's promising future is suddenly and irrevocably altered when her locks are transformed into snakes as punishment for a crime she did not commit. Medusa must embrace a new identity, not as a victim, but as a vigilante, and with it, the chance to rewrite her own story as mortal, martyr, and myth. Exploding with rage, heartbreak, and love, I, Medusa, betrays a young woman caught in the cross currents between her heart's deepest desires and the cruel, careless games of the Olympus gods play. I am so sad I did not get to that this year. Here is another one that I'm really sad that I did not get to. We have The Last Tiger by Julie Siblings. It's a sibling pair by Julia Reeve and Brad Reeve. In a colonized land where tigers are being hunted to extinction, ancient magic stirs. Two star-crossed teens from opposite worlds, Lee Sung, a servant yearning for freedom, and Cho, I'm not saying the last name, I don't think I can pronounce it, a noble girl defying tradition, joins forces to reshape their respective fates. But the relationships evolve from begrudgingly accomplices to bitter adversaries as soon as they find themselves on the opposite sides of a battle over the last tiger, a symbol of their people's lost freedom and the key to the liberation of their country. As the ties between Sun Young and Yuji by, are complicated by their conflicting loyalties, tensions rise, especially when a charming princeling of an empire begins to rival for Eugene's affection. In the tale of forbidden romance, an antagonist turned allies, oppression and liberation, neither Sun Yi nor Eugene can abandon their mission of each other. And as they embark on separate quests to find the elusive creature, Each must also find the power within themselves to make their own destiny. Inspired by true stories from the author's grandparents' lives during one of the darkest periods in Korean history, The Last Tiger is a debut not young adult fantasy novel about the power of love to give a voice to broken people. It could be a couple, but I like that it was inspired from stories of their family. Then we have the last one in this stack, and this one I have owned since 2024, 2023. A Song to Drown the Rivers by Anna Lang. Or Ling. Told you they were all similar. Inspired by the legend Zishi, one of the famous four beauties of ancient China, A Song to Drown is an epic novel steeped in myth about womanhood, war, sacrifice, love, and against all odds, the fate of two kingdoms hangs in a delicate balance. Shishi's beauty is seen as a blessing to the villagers of Yu. Convinced the best fate for a girl is to marry well and support her family, when Zishi draws the attention of the famous young military advisor Fan Li, he presents her with a rare opportunity to use her beauty as a weapon, one that could topple the rivaling neighborhood kingdom of Wu, improving the lives of her people, avenging her sister's murder. All she has to do is infiltrate the enemy's palace spies, seduce the immortal king, and weaken them from within. Trained by Fan Li in everything from classical instruments to concealing emotion, Zenshi hones her beauty in the perfect blade, but she knows Fan Li can see through every deception she masters. The attraction between them burning away any falsehoods. Once inside the enemy's palace, she finds herself under the hungry gaze of the king's advisors. While the king himself shows her great affection despite his gentleness, a brutality lurks, and Zishi knows she can never let her guard down. But the higher Zishi climbs in the Wu court, the further she and Fan Li have to follow. And if she unmasks as a traitor, she will bring both kingdoms down. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a standalone. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna double check, because if it's not a standalone, I need to buy a used copy of the second book just to get the sprayed edges. This is a first and a duet, but I'm only counting the first one. I will read these back to back. When I was little, Mom would tell me, oh, it's Scars Like Wings by Chesley J. Leon. When I was little, Mom would tell it to me like a fairy tale. A story that couldn't be real. Little did I know how real monsters were. And I'm not talking about dragons. When her mother was murdered, Bird Pierce's world shattered. She lost so much, so young, she feared she'd never be able to recover. Years later, Bird had not only picked up the pieces, but also mended them with gold. She has a job at a living magical library, a witch and a mermaid for best friends, and a closet of clothing that are not only flattering her plus size body, but make her look hot AF. When Quinn Garcia literally falls head over heels for her, Bird thinks she finally found her okay at last. But when Quinn compliments a back tattoo only she can see, she doesn't actually have. One she doesn't actually have, at that mysterious everything shifts. While trying to research the mysterious tattoo, Bird finds a book that only she can open, containing one single sentence written in her mother's handwriting. Are you ready to know the truth, baby bird? Suddenly, mysterious mysteries surface and threaten to drown Bird. Nothing from her friends to her past to Quinn is what they've always seemed. The further she dives, however, the more solitude idea becomes clear. Her mother did everything to keep her safe, but at what cost? That was a heavy book. I think that's the biggest in this stack so far. We have The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Lung. A mage in training discovers friendship and maybe something more in the unlikeliest of places in this delightful, charming novel from the U.S. Today's best-selling author of the teller of small fortunes. Certainly, Rush wants to be. Certainly, Bulrush wants to be useful to the guild of mages that took her in as a novice, to the little brother who depends on her, and to she, who, whomever else she can help. Unfortunately, her tepid magic hasn't proven much use to anyone. When Certainty has the chance to earn her magehood via a seemingly straightforward assignment, she takes it. Never mind that she'll have to work with the mage Aurelia. Aurelia? I can't say these names. The brilliant, unfair, attractive overachiever who's managed to alienate everyone around her. Two must transport minorly magical artifacts somewhere safe. Shep Spelling, the dullest, least magical village around. There they must fix up an old warehouse, separate the gossipy teapots from the kind of flaming swords, corral an unruly little cat dragon who's tagged along, and above all, avoid complications. The guild's uneasy relationship with the citizens is at its tipping point, and the last thing needed is a magical incident. Still, as a mage and a novice to know Shepling's residents and each other, they realize the guild's hoard's magic might not do more good than being shared. Or they realize the guild's hoarded magic might do more good being shared. Friendships blossom with Certainty, and Aurelia work to make Shepling the haven it could be, but magic is fictional. Add attraction, and it might spell trouble. The cover, I have so many freaking books that sound like this, but I'm obsessed with fantasy romance. This one is like on my high list that I want to get read in January. The Seventh Champion by Sylvia Mercedes. She's the kingdom's only hope. He's the assassin sworn to kill her. Swept from her quiet life as an apothecary apprentice to the treacherous courts of the High King, Rosie Harpwood is shocked to discover she is the long-lost daughter of the demonic Dragon Queen. Reawakening her magic is the kingdom's only hope for salvation. But the journey is perilous, and she needs to be a champion to guide her. So, the High King hosts a series of trials to determine which prince is worthy of the honor, and of claiming Rose's hand in marriage, of course. Rosie, however, has other ideas. A talented healer and a lover of small, fluffy creatures, Rosie wants nothing to do with demon queens or saving the world. Determined to escape their fate, she joins forces with one of the champions to plot her getaway. Prince Baltar may be aromatic and a little bit terrifying, but something about him makes her blood burn in ways that have nothing to do with her dragon heritage. Trained from a youth to serve the Dragon Queen, Baltar has proven himself a ruthless assassin. Posing as a suitor to get close enough to his target shouldn't be a problem. But Voltaire wasn't planning on his target being Rosie, the girl he failed to assassinate years ago, who has haunted his dreams ever since. Rebecca Thorne, I have a bunch of books by her, and we will be counting this, but in January I will be reading the books I own by her first before I get to this one and her new release, but I want to get to this one as well. This The Gilded Abyss by Rebecca Thorne. Do you realize what's about to happen on this ship, soldier? Cassandra's voice was dark, deadly seriously as she whispered, anarchy. Sergeant Nick Smara is a damn good soldier, but she's desperate to leave her haunted past in the bioluminescent ocean, buried alongside old friends and old flames. Unfortunately, even the icy ocean can't extinguish some fires. When Cassandra's everyone's favorite princess and Nyx Lotham X requests Nyx help to investigate a massacre in the abyssal city of Fall, Nyx refuses vehemently. But Cassandra always gets what she wants. Assigned as Cassandra's bodyguard, Nyx grudgingly boards a luxurious submersible that offers the only transportation to Fall. It's frustrating, irritating how quickly Nyx and Kess fall back into sync, much as she tries to fight it. Nyx cannot deny their spark, but Cassandra wasn't truthful. Surprise, surprise! And Nick quickly realizes this investigation isn't about the massacre. But what rather? Sorry we got interrupted. I need to take a breath, and I was gonna itch my nose, which I do in mostly every single video. And probably a couple times I didn't realize, but I definitely did not want to do it again. Let me go back to where we were. Their investigation isn't about a massacre, but rather what caused it, an illness that incinerates its victims into a violent craze. When another royal is brutally murdered, it becomes apparent the disease has spread and no one on the submersible is safe. Suddenly, survival hinges on trusting each other, which would be a hell of a lot easier if Cassandra didn't keep lying. Injured, fighting for their lives, Nyx has to decide if she can trust Cassandra again. What she'll lose this time if she does. This is a local author to me, so I definitely want to give it a try. All She Ever Wanted, Sarah Limdo? We have the same name, I believe. Sensible girls don't run away with pirates, but Aurelia was never sensible. Aurelia Danby has always loved fairy tales and heroes, but fancy books made her ridiculous, so they were taken away, leaving her shackled to sensitivity and high society. She would not have been hopelessly resigned to being she would have been hopelessly resigned to being a rich man's wife, were it not for Williams Kingswood, her handsome and very unavailable neighbor, who once saved her life as a child. He has spent the last 10 years writing to her of his adventures in exchange for keeping his secrets. And while he's a gentleman, he also rules the Atlantic as the infamous pirate Captain Cobson. Aurelia is desperately in love with him. But sensible girls don't fall for pirates. She's also eager to escape her arranged marriage, and sometimes pirates are a ridiculously girl's best, if not preferred, option. When Captain Cobson causes an international scandal by stealing Aurelia from her royal fiance, Aurelia embarks on an adventure to rival her favorite tales filled with treasure, poker games, mermaids, battles, sea monsters, grand theft, French people, and wild schemes, including thwarting her fiance, who will do anything to get her back. Aurelia Darby's heart has only ever belonged to an adventurer and her very troublesome captain. It sounds so good. We have the last book, and I'm so happy. The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bolivia? Bolivian? Bolivio? Told you I'm bad at saying names. Love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to wield. They are bound together by blood and magic. There is only one truth Gray dare not reveal, not even to Kier. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them into a dangerous mission, Gray will need to decide what she's willing to sacrifice to protect her secret. For Grey is no ordinary magical well, and as she dies, all magic dies with her. It's a chunky too, but it's not as chunky as this one. So that is my 12 top priority TBR of 2026. If you've read any of these books, let me know which one I should read first. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I will see you tomorrow for day 15 of Bookmas. I wanted to say 14, but this video is day 14. So I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!